What up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Off the Record. Listen, getting pulled over sucks. Sitting on the side of the road, the lights flashing in your eyes, the whole deal, that's all terrible. The ticket, even worse. What's worse than that? The insurance premiums. It goes crazy. One basic ticket can compound itself over a period of years. And if you have an expensive car or multiple cars, it's like a double whammy every time because it costs you more to insure all your cars because you got that ticket. Listen, do you know why that racket works so well for them? Because most people don't fight their tickets. Don't be those people. Be smart. Always fight your tickets. That is where Off the Record comes in. Off the Record is a service that helps you get in touch with a qualified attorney to fight your ticket or misdemeanor on your behalf. You don't have to go to court or anything. They cover 90% of the population of the United States, and they have a 97% success rate. And if they don't get that ticket off your record, you don't pay them. Here's what you do. Go to offtherecord.com/TST or download the iOS or Android Off the Record app and use code TST10 within the app. That code or that link will get you 10% off all services at Off the Record until May of 2023. So download it now, stash that code now, and don't wait until you're on the side of the road to go, maybe now I should have a lawyer. Be prepared. Go to offtherecord.com/TST or download the Off the Record app and use code TST10 and tell them we sent you. This is a service that I personally use, and it's something we should all have in our back pockets. And we're also brought to you by Dylan Optics sunglasses. You know those really cool sunglasses you see me wearing in every video with the matte finish? Those are Dylan Optics. The NIR lens technology means not only do they look cool, different from all other sunglasses out there, they work. Man, it's like HD life. I work in the middle of the desert. I work on top of mountains, out in cars all day long, and these things really keep my eyes in good shape. At the end of a long day, my eyes don't hurt when I'm wearing my Dylans. They're awesome. And if you go to thesmokingtire.com and click on the Partners tab, there's the Dylan banner right there. Use that link. Off the Record is right next to Dylan on that page as well. Use that link, and if you buy a pair of Dylan Optics sunglasses, I will send you a free Smoking Tires t-shirt as a sign of appreciation for supporting the people who support us. All right, on this episode of the podcast, my old friend Larry Kosilla, and when I say old, I mean it. We went to middle school and high school together. We started our first business together, and I got him into making videos, and now he's got his big product company, AMMO, and he's got his AMMONYC channel. He's making these crazy videos. He's actually got more subscribers than me now, so I'm kind of jealous, but yeah, he has earned every bit of it. It's Larry Kosilla of AMMO on the Smoking Tire Podcast.
It's like a door that opens for you.
Rightly so.
You have arrived.
Well, it seems we exist, and that means Smoking Tire Podcast 2 for 3 this week. Larry. Hello, Larry.
Hello.
Larry Kosilla with his fucking set-up garage there in Connecticut. What's happening, brother?
I'm hanging out here. I am actually hiding in the garage right now because I have the baby sleeping, so
sorry,
I can't be in the office, and I figured why not come out and stare at the cars. So
sorry. If it was a few months ago and we were doing a thing that didn't involve Zoom and I could run it myself, then we could have done it earlier in the day. But Zach has a job, and so now we can only do shows after his job is over because I need him. I can't do a show without him anymore.
What are you doing? Is he working for Drive? Is that what you said?
Man, I've had the same job for like 5 years, Larry.
For Tangent Vector. For JF, right. Yeah, which is Drive and Proving Grounds on NBC Sports.
Word.
And a bunch of other like random B-roll footage gigs for manufacturers and shit.
Zach, I was just trying to plug you there. That was just a setup, all right? I mean, I'm trying to help you out here.
That was a good pivot. Nicely done.
That was good. Pivot off the back foot. Is it freezing cold there still?
Nah, this morning it was about 49, and it went up to a whopping 53 today.
Yikes.
Yes, I know. I talked to everybody in California, and they're like, "I can't believe it's that cold." Yeah, it's pretty cold this late in the season.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially
Easter
for a
was like
detail,
45
it's
degrees.
shitty.
Yeah, it's terrible. But
Yeah, that's why I left.
hopefully soon.
That's why I left, and you should have too.
Yeah, well, not gonna happen.
Well, not now. Now you got
That's true.
now that you got this big ass building. That's what happened to me. Hannah was like, "Maybe we should go back to the East Coast." I was like, "I just built a cathedral.
Yeah.
I can't
leave it.
fucking leave."
That's not how church works usually. Just drop the tithing off. I'll be back in a year.
How's construction?
It's going slow. I have, thankfully, I have a really good buddy, Ben, who's helping me out, basically helping me not lose my mind or slowly losing my mind at the same time. It's a bit crazy, but he's helping out a lot. He's an architect and a designer. And so we're going through it at this stage and kind of figuring out, I guess, Matt, you'd appreciate this a little bit more. We're figuring out where, I guess the loopholes isn't the right word, but the accounting isn't working out the way that I was hoping it would. So I know you talked about this, off the air or whatever.
What, being
we gotta watch
insanely
everything and make
fucking
sure.
over budget?
Well, I'm over budget, but I'm not really. It's just the math wasn't working out, and so I have to go through and every single change order we're looking at and making sure it reconciles. It's like a big math equation, and the work is going great. My GC is amazing, but that's where we are right now. That picture you're looking at right now is probably 2.5 weeks ago. So everything is pretty much sheetrocked except the electrical part. I'm not sure if you, let me back. When I went to your building and I walked around with you and I was like, wow, Matt knows a lot about building, and I could feel your stress on each, phase of doing it. And now that I've been doing it, I'm like, oh, I can really appreciate what you're going through, because there's all these different, there's the plumbing and the electrical and the sheetrock and all that, and framing or whatever.
Yeah, I was fat when I started my project.
That's the construction diet.
The construction diet. I literally yank off parts of my own body and throw them away from anxiety.
You sell them.
Yeah, it's so much stress. I'm not sleeping. This picture is perfect that Zach just put up. Put that back up.
With
if
the
you don't
fucking
mind.
hazmat
See, he's
suit
cutting
on?
the floor.
It's
So
a
we
guy.
cut the floor.
Yeah.
Did all this stuff. Put the lifts in. We got the wrong information for the lifts, the wrong size.
Oh no.
So I got to cut the floor again.
Oh my
this
God.
week.
So you
Really?
put the wrong lines in or something?
Well, it just the wrong information was given to us, and I can prove all that stuff. But
Okay.
nice people and everything is fine. But my floor is done, and now I got to cut it again.
Well, yeah, now and you go into with a contractor or an architect or a whatever, a subcontractor. It's like, well, was that an honest mistake or was that negligence or was what I mean? It's like where do you draw the line?
This one was an honest mistake.
Yeah.
The emails got crossed, and we took a template and we put it down on the floor, and we said, "This is the template. This is the template. Yes, 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 yes." And so it works for one of the other lifts, but not in the middle bay that you saw there, the big one, bay one, I call it, where it's 3 stories, meaning you can put a car up as far as you want. I put a bigger lift in there because I can go 3 stories high. So the idea was to have the lift go up almost to the 2nd floor. So if Zach goes through some of those pictures, you can see there's a balcony. And so on the 1st floor, when you put the lift up, that wall is actually down now. So it's open, and there's a balcony right where that window was, where my finger is. There's I think it's 18 inches or 20 inches that extends out, and now you can look down at the car, but when the car is on the lift and goes up, it's almost at eye level. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Is there any practical need to have a car that go up that high, or is it just neat?
Well, to get underneath it, the oil change and stuff, but
but it's not. It goes high enough where you could just walk straight under it, right?
oh yeah.
But it's not comically high, right? Like one of those 3-story strip clubs in New Orleans. Where
No. The irony was I was
pole.
trying to build something that had pulleys that went all the way down, and I could still do it, but it didn't make any sense now once I explained the story. But the pulleys would go all the way down and sit on the ground. Then the car could drive onto it, and the pulleys would lift it all the way up to the 3rd floor. But the problem is I'd have to leave a car up on the 3rd floor because I wouldn't be able on the 2nd floor to shoot down.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? It's like there's nowhere to put it afterwards. So
it's blocking. If you pull it up, it's just blocking everything. Yeah.
There's a catwalk in that picture that we took out because it just started getting too ridiculous. But
Okay.
that's the rendering of what it is supposed to look like now. But I have some The irony is I just posted today because I knew we were going to do this. So I think hopefully a lot of people are watching. I have a new YouTube channel called AMMONYC Studio, which is going to be really based on all the live feeds and things that we're doing in there. I have podcasts and live feeds for actually detailing a car. We're going to do that there. And so I wanted to have that as a separate channel. I know you and I have talked about that offline.
Someone listen to me.
Yes. So every time I post something
me.
super crazy nerdy on my big channel, that's not a disaster detail or a barn find, like your subscribers go down.
I was like, Larry, if you set up cameras in your studio and detail a car on a live stream and just occasionally acknowledge the live stream, you will end up with extra hundreds or thousands of dollars from donations and super chat. You don't even have to do anything. There doesn't have to be this like
from that,
quid
I have
pro
a huge
quo
TV
like
going in.
Twitch.
I can sit. Yeah. I can look at it from across the room. You know what I mean? As I'm detailing and polishing, I can look and be like, "Oh, George asked whatever," and just have a conversation. After a while, you get bored detailing a car. I might as well have a conversation.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
What's the goal of the shop? Like, what is the goal of this whole building?
Well, the backstory quickly is I wanted to do something. Matt knows all this. I wanted to do something probably about 6 or 7 years ago. And I just started saving, Zach, I'm crazy. So I started to save in a particular amount every single year. And then probably 2.5 to 3 years ago, I started seriously searching. Then about maybe a little bit more than a year ago, I found the place. I said, this is it. I want it. And I negotiated for it for a year. And the guy was an older gentleman. He was going to make it his like garage mahal kind of thing. But he was older. And eventually he actually said, "You wore me down," which is what a lot of people say. So I wore him out.
How's your new baby, by the way? Just on an unrelated note, completely.
Did you get Did you get it in his estate sale? That's how you really. That's how you know you really wore him down. The guy's my brother Joe says that I shouldn't sell you this for less than 1.8.
Yes.
An older gentleman had a dream, and Larry took that
I wore
dream
it down. And then I went to the town because my town doesn't allow car washes, believe it or not. So I had to petition and do all these changing. I was thinking of Matt the whole time because I know you had to do all stuff with your sidewalk or whatever you were doing.
Oh my God! And my town doesn't allow car washing either. So I have a bunch of fucking special shit I had to do too. Yeah.
Right. So we did that. That took like 6 months, and then I had to do my phase 1 inspection and phase 2 inspection, which I didn't even know about, which is on a commercial building.
Yeah.
That took forever and was
phase
really
2s are really fun.
Yeah.
Phase 3
nuts.
If you're on a 3, just don't buy the building. That's where I was at. That's what everyone
if I didn't
says.
pass phase 2, I was out.
When they go,
oh shit, really?
Yeah, when they go, this doesn't look very good after the phase 2, and because the scientist you hire to do the phase 2, they can't come to a conclusion. They're not allowed to say,
"Oh my God,
run."
Matt, this is the same thing." I was talking to my lawyer and saying, "I was like, what is the purpose of having this?" They say they give you no information, and
they're not allowed
to
make a judgment. They can only give you the information. So they go, "Well, we found extremely high concentrations of vinyl chloride," and you go, "Well, so do I not buy it?" And they go, It's up to you, really. And you go, "Well, what happens?" And they go, "Well, all your kids are going to have 4 penises." But I'm not saying don't buy it. I just want to lay the risks out.
I feel like that law was put upon them, and they're behind their eyeballs. They are screaming to tell what you should do, but they can't legally tell you.
Yeah. It was terrifying to do that. Luckily, I didn't have anything. But the irony is, again, with the building, the next door neighbor owned the building. It was an empty lot. He built it. He was a Hungarian guy, really interesting man who was a welder. So he built this as a welding building. So there's a fire pit where you could stick the steel in. The concrete.
Cool.
You mean like a forge? Like there's a forge?
Yes.
Fuck out of here.
Yes, in the wall.
No way. Did you leave
Matt,
it?
There's actually a what they call a squelch pit in the ground. I had to fill it in with concrete, but a squelch pit. So he would take the fire, the thing you stuck in the fire, and then stick it into the ground. Shh, not that. Those are lights.
Wait, but is the thing still in the wall? Or did you cover it up?
Yeah, it's still in the wall. I put it next to it's near my sink where my sink is going to be in the back.
Can you do
so right there on the left where the ladder is. Do you see the soot see this ladder?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's an open brick wall for people listening, and then half the wall is just black. It's very...
Yeah, that's from the soot.
What can you do with that? I bet you do something awesome.
Dude, you should
with
learn
that.
to forge stuff. Oh, there we go. Now, it's in the back. I mean, It just looks like a
right
black
where
square.
That wood beam is like kind of in the way.
I mean,
right where
Hannah got me
that ladder-
blacksmithing classes for my birthday, and I can't recommend having a forge enough than blacksmithing. Swinging a big hammer and smashing red hot metal is a great stress reliever.
It's very cathartic and rewarding.
Fucking great. If you have an opportunity, put a fucking forge in there, get an anvil, and have at it, dude. You're ready.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. But the whole building was steel, and the guy made it himself. So this guy put bolts in the steel as you're supposed to when you build a steel building, which is in crazy in a residentially kind of area. Then he tack welded every single bit of steel.
Whoa.
So every steel that you see, those beams going sideways, those are ones I had to put in because I took down a wall to make it more open. But the rest of it is all steel. And the guy, I mean, it's every person who's walked into this building who had any like engineering type of background is like, you could hit a tornado and a hurricane at the same time. That's not going anywhere.
Wow. Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so, and the floor is airplane grade. I'm not even sure if that's a word, but that's what it's telling me, meaning it has to have enough pressure per square inch or foot or whatever.
Did they pressure test it? What pressure did it come out at?
I don't know. Some ridiculous where they're like, every person was like, why do you have that there? The reason I have that there is if you can see that guy in the background, that's actually Ben, by the way.
I can't.
On the right-hand side.
Oh, yeah, by the wall. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the architect and designer, he's awesome. That door goes all the way up where an 18-wheeler can fit in. And the 18-wheeler would dump in these steel beams. Now, at the edge of that the lift that goes all the way up that they're using for painting the walls or whatever they're doing, at the edge of that, there was 4 posts in the ground. And then he had a metal like collector thing where the beam would go right in between, and then he could do whatever blacksmiths do there. So the point of the story is he had to hold like thousands of pounds of steel beams.
Oh, because he was building the building. And he had to oh yeah, that makes sense.
So the
when
floor
you
had
walk
to
into
withstand.
the building, it's so architecturally weird. It's interesting.
Yeah,
but it's strong. That's good.
The rule for my concrete for my deck was 5,000 psi, which they take a cylinder of it and put it in a press until it cracks.
Yeah, I actually had. Did you keep that cylinder? That's a paperweight. Mine is like this long.
Yeah, I kept one. My contractor told me to not ever say on the record what the actual number was that we tested, but it was so far beyond 5,000 that I thought they were joking.
What was the purpose for not telling you? I mean, don't say what you can't say.
They
but
just said, I'll tell you like later, but they said that like I just shouldn't. They said I shouldn't brag about it. They should just say that we passed the requirement. That whatever they're like, don't tell people the actual number, because I don't know why. I don't know why specifically I was told not to do that, but because after they told me, I was like, you're fucking joking. That's not the real number. And they were like, yeah, no, it is. I started just like telling everybody that, and they were like, stop. So I don't want to get sued or anything, but
no. So ultimately, to answer Zach's question, the building is designed so that I can finally detail cars, because it's like the ultimate detailing place for me in terms of lights and whatever, where I can't. It's hard for me now to keep bending down, so I have that's not the right lift, but that's just a rendering. You get the idea. But,
I was going to ask you, like, what do you I thought you took wheels off. A scissor jack's not going to work for that.
No, that was the architect, the first architect. Just put something there as a placeholder. But obviously, it actually doesn't look like that at all anymore. But basically, I don't have to bend down anymore, which is a big deal. Obviously, doing that 100 times a day. I can film, and that's why I started the second YouTube channel, AMMONYC Studio, so I can do it. Basically, listen to exactly what you said. So there you go. You're my mentor for YouTube. Thank you, man.
Subscribe to. Is it just AMMONYC Studio?
It's AMMONYC Studio. So that's. I don't know what you're looking at there, but that
says 1.3 million subscribers. I was gonna say, did you already get 1.3 million subscribers on your brand new channel, or is this your original channel?
That's the original channel. I'm not sure why it says AMMONYC Studio, to be honest with you there. But,
okay.
Find the studio one. I just posted it like 10 minutes ago.
I want to do a good job, but it's it's called the thing you want me to find. And it's hilarious.
Zach is in the middle of doing the Smoking Tire podcast channel.
Find the one called AMMONYC Studio.
I'm looking
at
it down there.
Okay,
yeah. 18 subscribers. Yeah, we'll be your 19th subscriber.
Okay.
That's the right one.
Oh, and I actually did a walkthrough video. If you really want to check it out, right there, I did that today for you because I knew we were going out. Not for you, but for the people who are.
All right, yeah, the
watching.
folks can go check it out. We can't play YouTube on YouTube. It's weird like that. You know what I mean? Even if even if you, Larry, are like, sure, the software's like, who's that guy who just said sure? Fuck him.
We got a flag on the plate, copyright infringement. First down.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's a big no. Yeah, if you put that video on your Instagram, we could play it, but not through YouTube. It's just fucking stupid like that, you know.
But yeah, that's why I built the building. So it's gonna be awesome. My office is there, of course. I have a kitchen in there. I have a shower I put in there. I have a gym in there. I have a podcast live feed. So the upstairs, that's a lounge, and where that dude is on the stilts, which is kind of cool. See that hole in the wall behind him?
Yeah.
In the ceiling?
Yeah.
That's a spiral staircase that goes up.
Oh, I always wanted a spiral staircase.
I have two spiral staircases, one in that one and one in my office that goes up into the podcast room.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
if
kick-ass,
Zach
man.
switches to the other room, the other pictures or whatever, there's a podcast room above my office. That's that one right there. That's my office. But above that sheetrock, there you go. That
the guy up there? Oh, cool. Yeah,
So
this
the
looks
spiral
great, dude.
staircase is where
There's
the
a lot
stairs
going
are.
on in this building.
There's a lot. This is amazing.
How many square feet is
Jeez.
this place?
It's not that big. It's like
Are you sure?
3,600 square feet.
Oh, but it's 3 stories, so
Yeah, so they're each about 1,300.
that's cool.
per
What
floor,
town is
so-
this in?
You
You don't even want to
where
say?
I live.
Oh, it's in the town you live in? Okay, cool. All right, nice.
So it's like 2 miles from my house.
Oh, awesome. That's fucking great. Yeah,
Congrats. Good for you.
Short commute.
Thanks, yeah.
You got a nice driveway? How's the outside?
Outside's good. The reason I like it is one, it looks like a weird ski chalet. I know it sounds like
Really?
you look at it,
Like
you're
an A-frame?
Not A-frame, but it's all wood, like Hungarian wood, because the guy was Hungarian.
Oh, cool.
And Matt, you would love this the best. The front door is got to be, I'm not exaggerating, something like right now it's about 200 pounds each door. And he custom made these crazy doors that you could drive a truck through and it wouldn't move. But in between, there's plexiglass. And so what I'm doing is I'm putting having steel made in between. So now it's an all steel door, and the doors each of them will be about 300 pounds. So when you come in, it goes like,
Whoa.
it's like crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are they
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
powered, I hope?
Yeah, no kidding.
No, but the amazing thing is they're on a really sturdy pin. I forget the word that the engineer guy was using, but you can open it, with your finger kind of thing. But you can feel the weight if you go back and
it's a low
forth.
friction,
Like a nice
bearing
bearing.
or pivot. Yeah, that's cool.
It's amazing. So we decided to keep that because it was an homage.
That's pretty
or whatever you wanna call
badass.
it.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, it's cool.
There's a bunch of old buildings in LA that I really liked, and I was like, oh man, it would be cool to find a way to repurpose this, but there was just no way to do it. And building from scratch is so regulation driven because I was just like, oh, what's the goal? As many cars as possible, And so it's also regulation driven that there's no cool woods from Hungary. I can't work with that. You know what I mean? I did put a 30-foot tall red F on the front. That's
true.
Yeah, but that, very subtle, by the way.
It's kind of subtle if you don't know. I mean, you know what? I'll tell you something though. It's more subtle than a big sign that says West Side Collector Car Storage.
It's true.
If you were telling someone where it was, there's just an address number and you go look for the big red F. It's that doesn't scream like there's a bunch of cars in here.
No, it's true.
Speaking of that, when is that going on? It's been years.
Jesus Christ, it has, hasn't it?
Thanks for bringing it up, Larry.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I know. Well, I figured, why not?
We're gonna shoot an update video this weekend. I think where we're at right now is really like the end. Like they poured the driveway today. Like the sidewalk,
nice.
the front sidewalk they poured.
Right.
We're gonna pour the alley behind after that.
Oh, you had to do that for the town?
Oh, bro, I have been.
I knew the front walkway, but
extorted-
not the back.
No, I've been extorted 4 or 5 times to do public works for this project. I've had to do a few different things. Fortunately, the inspector is a fan, and the inspector's been kind to me. He's actually
A
is
fan
a
of
fan
your money or a fan of the show?
Oh, fan of the show, not of my money. He heard me on Joe Rogan and was very excited that he got to work on my building. So he's cool, and he's not giving me too much crap. But
That's awesome.
we got our fire water permit. So it's the permit to connect our sprinkler system to the cities. That permit took 22 months to clear.
Wow.
We were about 3 weeks from having a finished building that we couldn't open because of that.
COVID.
No, because of no fire permit.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So when is the official open date, I guess is what I'm asking.
As soon as I can. I don't have one. There isn't one. I know that
But you
sounds.
can go in and people can go in. Do you have a C of O yet?
No.
Yeah.
No. That's I mean, obviously it's the very last thing. When I have a C of O, then the open date is whenever Gavin Newsom says businesses can open again. I think the grand opening party may not happen, which is unfortunate, but like I can open, and I got a list of like 50 people who are ready and waiting to move their cars in. And so we, fortunately, like guys are working, it's slow but going. It's the final shit. It's the electrical stuff and not wiring. I'm talking about installing cameras, installing Wi-Fi hubs, switches, shit like that. The TVs, internet stuff, lights, and then they're doing all the motorized gates, because I've got I have 7 motorized gates, 4 of which are remote, which is intense. And so yeah, and then we're good. That's it. It's done. I mean, it's the racks are done. All the hard stuff's done. Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah,
a big shout out to BendPack. They just emailed me and say, we're watching your live feed right now. So they've been super helpful because I have to recut the floor and do all that kind of stuff. So
I'm sure the guys who make my lifts are going to be happy to hear your BendPack shout.
hey, listen,
You can shout them out all you want. Let me just say that BendPack does not make a California legal quad. They do not. I have the only ones. If they'd like to see some, come to Westside Collector Car Storage, where I have the first indoor quad stacking system in Southern California. Yeah.
I am excited to see it. At some point, I have to come out there and train your guys.
I know.
And then shoot a video. But
I know. That's a coronavirus issue.
Yeah.
That's a coronavirus issue. We're ready to do that, basically. Right. My guys are like itching. That's one of the biggest mistakes I made. In fact, possibly the biggest mistake I made was getting my hiring done what turned out to be, 6 months early, and then having to put guys on ice, which I feel incredibly guilty about. Yeah. And hiring didn't take that long. And I should have waited until they were like rolling the desk chairs into, what I mean? Yeah. These are lessons that you learn, you know what I mean? It's like we started small businesses like a couple of times now, each of us, but like I'd never started a business that started with building the goddamn building that you're in. So I don't know anything about timing. I'm a fucking retard,
No, you want to talk about timing? I got an EPA registration number. I was working on disinfectants. I was about to come out with one, and all the raw materials got sucked up right before.
All the alcohol.
I was like,
all the alcohol and stuff?
Yeah, there's different chemicals and things, what they call quants, but that all got allocated elsewhere, and I just went like, oh my gosh, I was 3 weeks away from having something amazing, and then understandably so, it's been allocated elsewhere to the places.
Wait, back it up. What's it like to own a small chemical company, as you do? We can call it that, right? A small chemical company?
Sure.
Yeah, you own a small chemical company. You
Certainly
have to
insured like it.
Yeah, you have to buy raw materials to make your products. Mm-hmm. You have to work with you don't own a factory, so you have to work with whoever the factories are.
Not anymore. Remember that you were there at that one.
I was there. Yeah, that was not a good idea. And and so now, but now we're in the middle of a pandemic, and all of a sudden, like there's government intervention and there's massive orders for supplies. And what do you do? What happens? What does that scenario look like right now?
From a small business perspective, everything has been, cleaning is a big deal, and cleaning correctly is also, I would say, vital. I wouldn't go so far as to say life-saving, but kind of at this point. So of all the small businesses, I can't complain. Everything is great. I'm on YouTube, and people are watching a lot more YouTube because they're home and they're worried about cleaning, and people are home and cleaning their cars.
Yeah, but you said the funniest fucking most appropriate thing to me the other day when we were talking about your video that was like how to disinfect your car.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that makes me nuts. It almost kind of breaks my heart at the same time. I get it that the 300 car barn find was really...
No, you pointed out the thing about television. Say what you said to me about that video, because I was like, oh, I saw your video everywhere, Larry. And you said...
Which one? The COVID? I'm saying that people don't want to like learn anymore?
Yes, that.
Yes. So like my COVID video, which I spent like a long time, because you remember I have to pull, I got to, Zach probably laughs right now. I have to pull all my notes and everything from the EPA and CDC. You can't kind of mess around with that and give false information. So I spent a long time. I had my wife vet it. The whole thing, I just wanted to make sure it was accurate. And I spent a long time on it and posted it, and I got 100,000 views, which is wonderful and great. But it's like the 300 car one did whatever it was, 2 million in a day or two or whatever it was. And I'm like, I posted a video about how to like protect ourselves, and nobody's watching it. So nobody's really...
No, they want the big reveal, right? The people want the big reveal. They don't, because what you said, it wasn't just that it took you a long time to make and it didn't comparatively do that well compared to your, say, more mindless videos. It's that it was so shared. It was the most shared and yet the least watched. That was what I found so interesting about it, is that so many outlets picked it up and shared it, and that resulted in such a small amount of traffic. It's usually not how that works.
Right. And I had the least amount of subscribers. That's what I said to you. I said I had the most shares, the least amount of subscribers, and the fewest amount of views on what I think, socially speaking, the most impactful video, at least I've ever shot. Right. That I thought I stopped production on all the other things I was doing. I was like, hey, I think we should do the right thing or whatever and shoot, because I know a lot of people were asking me, hey, how do I handle this? And the sort of mentality is, hey, let's just dump bleach into our cars or do whatever, and then the car is clean. And I was like, hey, that's not going to work, aside from the bleach aspect. But that's not how the CDC and the EPA was telling us to do it. And I thought, okay, this would be a good PSA type video. And like you said, nobody watched it.
No, they want to watch more mindless stuff.
You know what they want to watch now? It's very fascinating. They want to watch a dirty car, let's call it a truck or whatever, like in the mud. Yeah. Like if you just took mud and went like that on the car, and then I took a power washer like this.
Yeah.
They want to watch that.
Just the Getting Zen video?
A what?
This is a Zen experience.
Yeah, like what's it called? With the sounds?
ASMR.
ASMR or whatever that kind of thing. That's the one.
What do they call it? It's like completion porn or something. It's just like people like watching videos of like a lawn getting mowed, and you'll see on Reddit, everyone's just like, God, it's so satisfying to see that see something get done.
Zach's 100% right.
No,
that's exactly
on Reddit,
I
subscribe to power washing porn on Reddit, and I also enjoy using a power washer.
It's fun to use.
I like power washing my deck. I think it's fun as fuck. Vinny brought home that power washer. I was like, sweet.
Yeah, you feel like a dragon.
Hell yeah. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Nobody wants to watch anything about how to save themselves. They'd rather power wash. So, I mean, I get it. And that's the reason that we had that conversation the other day, Matt. And you said, start another channel and just do live feeds. If that's what people, you know what I mean? There's that faction of people that just want to do live or disaster details and stuff. So I'm getting it. When we first started, when that whole story where you got me onto the Drive channel, the whole thing, that how-to was big then. Remember, you go to YouTube, like how to do this, how to do that. Now it's...
Yeah, I still have a really a really high trafficked how to wash your car video that I almost want to delete off the internet because it's fucking embarrassing.
Oh, yours for like AutoZone or whatever?
Yeah, I think it was an AutoZone sponsored video.
Yeah,
Black Magic Shine, was it that one?
No, it was AutoZone. I think it was I think we used Black Magic products, but it was AutoZone sponsored video. I think it was.
I remember that video. That was one of the ones that motivated me to start my own channel.
It drove Larry insane. He's like, I'm the detailer. He's like, you weren't even when we had the shop. He's like, you didn't even like washing cars. He's like, I was out there fucking washing cars, and you were bullshitting with the fucking Guidos, and now here you are with a how-to video. It drove him insane.
Yes, it made me nuts.
Someone in the audience
That's
asked
all I
how you guys
remember was
owned a
you
business.
kneeling at the back of the exhaust.
Yeah.
And you were just like barely cleaning it. And I'm like freaking out watching this. Like, what is he doing right now? I was like, I got to start my own channel.
Bro, yeah, I'm not good at washing cars. Although you'd be proud of me though. I wash all my own cars now using your products at my house. And the other day, Hannah and I on a Saturday, we washed 7 cars. Seriously.
Why 7 cars?
Because some of the cars at the shop were dusty. We washed basically all of our cars.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was fucking great. I was like, and I even commented to Hannah, I was like, there was a time that this was my life, and to go back to it really wouldn't be that bad. It was okay.
Yeah.
We
had a good time. It was a different world.
Yeah.
Remember it was $25 washes or something like that?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that in today's time? You can't $25 wash.
Yeah, you're not getting
what we were
nothing.
doing for $25.
Yeah, no, what we were doing would be probably a $65 or $70 wash today.
So you're just over effort, right?
There was a lot of effort that went into our basic wash. And
Right. I did the stripes in the carpets.
Larry
and then
had
remember
some
we put
real
the carpet,
attention to detail. The stencil. He had the stencil in the carpet.
I put
which was
what was
genius.
it? New York Motor Club stencil across the back in the carpets. And then remember we took the carpet out, like an actual carpet, like on your floor. And then we put it in front of the car so they could wipe their feet off before they got in the car. Remember that?
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's like the customer experience. They get in, they see the logo, like it's a little extra care. That stuff lingers.
It covered up for the fact that our building was like super shanty.
Right.
It was bad.
Musto was here yesterday.
Every month or so, we had to pull up. Remember the floor? It had those interlocking
the
floor decking
plastic
or whatever.
grates,
Yeah. We had to pull that up and then power wash it because all the cars that we did, all their junk fell in between the slots and we couldn't get them out, and the whole place would stink.
Oh, God.
People come in here and
really
they're like,
gnarly.
what is going on in here?
Oh, we sell clams on the weekend.
It was pretty gnarly, man. It was definitely OG.
It was good times, though, man. It was
all right. It was actually okay. And I was thinking as I was washing the car, I was like, if I had to do 10 of these a day, that would be okay. That wouldn't be the worst thing.
Was there at what point? Which
as long as it's
number?
warm outside.
What number did you start to go? All right, I'm getting a little tired, kind of over it.
No, I didn't. Well, first off, remember that fat picture of me? That was fat me doing that, so I didn't have the energy I have now.
Good point.
And I didn't. I just probably 5 or 6. I'd be like, I'm fucking over this. Larry did.
It was. I think it was
bunch.
35 minutes per car is
Something
what I
like
was
that.
remembering the exact time.
Yeah.
That we would allocate to do that, and then I'd have people inside detailing. And then I would either wash or we would switch on and off. Sometimes you would have to switch people because their brain would just, like mine, I was like, I can't do any more washes. I want to go detail a car. Kind of thing. But think about it. $25, $30 times 10 cars, you made $300.
It was not a good use of our time. In hindsight.
It was tough.
No, you were, I mean, it was a place to start, but that's about all it was.
Well, it was like, but you guys basically went to business school, and Larry kind of learned what you wanted to do with life, probably. So you guys got those lessons out of it.
I learned what I wanted to do with life by leaving.
Right, by not watching. You went, all right, I don't want to do that.
And then Larry 3 years later was like, hang on a minute. he actually had the right idea here.
Yeah. No, I went right into chemical manufacturing from there. I said, I'm going directly this way. So you went to California, I went into the manufacturing.
It
was worth it. It was fun.
Yeah, it ended up in the right place, I think. And now you got a cool spot to fucking detail and comfort. Now you don't have to bend down no more.
It's really a dream. I'm excited.
That's badass. I can't wait to see it when I come back east. I will come for
whenever anyone's allowed to travel. Yeah, absolutely.
I know, and I get now that I got a new nephew, I need some Connecticut time soon. So
true, your sister,
I got a nephew. Oh, they're fine. They're fine. My parents, the second coronavirus hit, my parents fucked off right to South Carolina. They bombed it 11 hours straight drive. Didn't even
really?
they didn't even get out of the car except for like rubber gloves to fill with gas, and they've been down there ever since. They haven't left their fucking house, like down there.
I could totally see your mom doing that. Like, we're not leaving, nothing's happening. Like, I could picture that whole thing. Your dad's like, yep, okay, no problem.
Whatever. Where's the golf course?
Whatever.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, Larry knows Viv and Raj pretty real well. How's that R8 treating you, dude?
Oh my gosh. I have to say it's yesterday, I just needed like a smile because I woke up the other day. I don't know if you can see it. My face is swollen. This side over here.
No,
I have to have a root canal.
Oh, that
so I had to have emergency dental work.
What does that feel like? I've never had one of them.
It's not that, you're numb, so it doesn't really matter. It's
but like, what was the pain that was like, oh shit, I need to get this fixed immediately?
Well, it happened for 2 or 3 days, meaning I had some hot water or hot whatever, oatmeal or whatever I was eating in the morning, and it kind of waves and it goes up into your ear.
Oh shit.
So I thought it was the uppers, and then it turned out. What?
I said I would know that if that happened. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I had to put an ice pack on, and then it kind of buckles your knees, and you don't really know what's going on because I don't know how to,
it's
I was trying to
nerve.
explain this
Nerve
to my
pain
wife.
is fucked up. It radiates. It radiates to like other parts of your body and shit, right?
Well, no, I always thought like, why is there like a dental emergency? Like I could take a punch or a cut or something. It's localized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can be like, my finger is broken. You can't do anything. Like I woke up in the middle of the night or I was dreaming, I think, where I wanted to come out to the garage over here to my workbench and take a plier and just rip it. That's how mental I started going in the middle of the night. That's how much pain it was. So when I got up, I called all these people and there was one dentist down the road. Why am I telling you this?
I don't know.
I'm telling you this because I had to get into the R8 afterwards and just go for a drive. And it was the most satisfying drive ever. So a long way of saying, I think this car looks gorgeous. I think the 2009s are amazing and it drives beautifully. It's a standard car where you're not like when I get into the Porsche or whatever,
it's not like an assault on your senses all the time.
Right. It's just it's a beautiful car. I couldn't be more happy with that thing. And it's a ridiculous value. What are they? I don't know. Zach probably knows better than me.
They're like 65,000
or something.
That's amazing.
I keep seeing like 6-speed V8 cars going around, and I'm like, ooh, maybe I should just get one of those.
I mean, you look at any BMW out there, they start at 60,000.
No, I know.
So like,
I think those cars will be remembered far more fondly. Like people go, fuck, we messed up. Like that will be up there with the F5, the 550 Marinellas and the other stuff of just like really nice, good to drive, fairly reliable, good sound. Like it's just Audi's too new to that scene probably.
Yeah, they're fucking cool.
Right, but you can go anywhere with this, meaning like I can go to any show and sort of be in the crowd.
Yeah.
It's such a, like if you think about it, when I bought the 964, people think it's super expensive. I bought that for $19,000. And that was every penny I had. Yeah. And this one here was just under 70,000. Financed, blah, blah, blah. That was 3 years ago or whatever. So you're not talking $280,000 Lamborghini or something. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what makes it so
R8
intriguing.
is definitely like a $90,000 or $100,000 driving experience, even with the V8. I think it really is. I think the way it looks, the view out of the hood, the style of the cockpit, the sound. I think that's a $100,000 driving experience for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't be more happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And you got that Macan going. I like that daily. That's good.
I got this.
Good daily.
Naturally, I got this right before COVID hit. I had to trade in the Ford, which, by the way, you're the one that told me to get the Ford Edge Sport, which I loved. It was just a great, reasonable car. I had it for 5 years, 2 versions. And then when the second lease came up, this was sitting there. I had a chance to there you go. I bought it in Detroit. This is right before you could, there was no more flying or whatever. Yeah. So I flew into Detroit on Friday. I bought the car and I drove it directly back from Detroit in 9.5 hours. And that's in, I don't even know where I was right there at some gas station, obviously. But the GTS is awesome. And I wanted to have some sort of experience where I didn't want to spend any more money than my other cars. So that's because it's a year older and the Ford was brand new. They actually washed. They're like $50 difference.
Oh, nice.
And now I can throw my son in the back and now, he's in daddy's Porsche kind of thing. Because remember, when I leave and, in the old 964 or the R8, he's of an age now where he's like, Daddy, I want to go. And I'm like, you're still too little to go into these cars.
Oh, you can't put him in that car. Oh.
We can't put him in the front seat in the car seat, I think.
Oh, yeah. That's a problem.
So, that sounds like a weird excuse, but it's not really. It's
no, I've heard that shit before. It's definitely
nice to bring the family in a car that you feel special in.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Hannah and I found ourselves with 6 2-seater cars last year, and we had to solve that problem.
Yeah, exactly. How are you going to bring Vinny anywhere? You know what I mean?
Fuck, Vinny fucking left us, man.
I know. He texted me and told me.
Yeah, he's in Texas, and and he went to Detroit to pick up a car and drove it back to Texas, which I told him not to do, but there's no talking Vinny out of anything.
Why did he do it? Like for himself or for work?
No, for work, because, he said that he was the only person who could be trusted to do that kind of a gig.
All right, so it's a Hennessy car?
Yeah, and it was a brand new Corvette, and it's a 1,000-mile drive, and I don't know who's working at Hennessy right now, but I imagine it's a skeleton crew, and Vinny is responsible enough to do such a job. So I understand that, but Vinny also is immunocompromised, and so it's a risky thing for him. But there's no talking Vinny out of something like that.
Oh, I'm very aware of Vinny. Yes.
Yes. So I think he enjoyed himself. He texted, "I really like this car and I'd like to buy one, and it drives great." And I said, "Is it Z51 mag ride?" And he's like, "Yep." And I was like, "It's perfect. It probably rides perfect for your road trip." I go, "How's the build quality?" And he goes, and I go, "How bad is it?" And he goes, "Really, really bad." He said it's the VIN number is 495, so technically it's pre-production. He said the panel gaps are fucking atrocious.
Well, they vary so much. You did that video, and you did a really good job of showing look at the trunk lineup on this side versus the other side.
Larry, you see that?
Why is that though?
Because they don't have precision in their assembly. They just don't. Really? Have you ever been to Bowling Green?
No.
Go to Bowling Green. You'll understand in 2 seconds why the cars don't fit together right. If you go to Bowling Green and then you go to the factory that your Macan was built in, which I have been to in Leipzig, the one that your Macan built in looks like McLaren compared to... In Leipzig, they're all in the Porsche endurance racing overalls. Everything's white. Everything's white. Including all the people. No, I'm just kidding. But everything is white. Everything is science. And they're pulling cars off the line left and right and checking everything. And if you go to Bowling Green and you replace all the brand new Corvettes with 1985 Luminas, it would look exactly appropriate. Yeah. It's an old looking place that's run in an old school way. Is what it is.
Right.
And it's, the car's built to a price. And it's they haven't, they tend to get better. By the end of the run, the C7s were screwed together pretty tight. But the early ones were fucking a mess.
I wonder if there's a number of minutes a Macan spends on the production line versus Vet. That'd be interesting.
They told us about this in the factory tour. It's not number of minutes. It's the number of cars that get pulled off for quality checks and the frequency of those checks and the subsequent back and forth phone calls with the parts suppliers where they're talking to the guy who makes their pedal box assembly 6 times a day if their part is just out of spec a little bit. And they even said that that's why the Macan costs so much more than a Q5. Right? It's not necessarily because the parts are more expensive, although in some cases it is if you get ceramic brakes or whatever, but it's because of the QC, and they do 4 times as much QC at Porsche as they do at even Audi, and it's probably 10 times as much as they do at GM.
So it could be a thing where if the hood hinge that GM gets was made by a supplier and that's out of spec by 0.2 millimeters,
correct?
And if they put the clamshell on it, and that fits correctly, but that hinge is off, now all the trunks line up wrong,
right?
And so they have to make the phone call all the time.
But let's say they only pull 1 car a day off the line to check. Well, now they've built 300 cars before they've realized that this is out of spec,
right?
You know what I mean? And
yeah.
How many more are they going to build before they can get the correct in-spec one? And so the implication with the guy at Porsche was, by pulling so many cars off the line and doing constant checks and being in constant contact with the suppliers many times a day, we can keep the precision of our parts very high.
I also think that they probably don't have as many parts that are just uniform to the entire line of... a Chevy gets one, I'm making this up, transmission. It probably fits in 10 of their cars versus, let's say, Porsche. It's
Corvette
one specific.
Corvette's different. Corvette has a lot more unique parts than you'd think. But and also Macan is less unique. The Macan, Cayenne, and Panamera, all variants are built on the same assembly line.
Oh, maybe
which is actually very interesting to see. You know, Cayenne, Macan, Panamera, Macan, Panamera, Cayenne. It was cool. It's really, really interesting to see how and here's where the hybrid powertrains come in, and here's where the twin turbo V8s come in. It's fucking pretty wild stuff. It was neat.
Wow.
I do recommend.
Is that a video?
I didn't make a video, but you can go to Leipzig. There's a Porsche Experience Center there. The original, the first one is in Leipzig, right next to the factory where the Macan, Cayenne, and Panamera are being built. There's a good picture of it. There's a picture of the factory. Look at that. So bright and airy.
I love the overalls, man.
It's really, really fun to see one paint to sample one come through. You know what I mean? It's like gray, blue, whatever, black, gray black, gray, yeah. And then psycho yellow. You know, someone ordered a Macan in lipstick pink.
Yeah, I mean, yes! Look at this. This is, kind of a crazy metallic
that's
sublime
Mamba green.
Mamba green.
Yeah, I had the Panamera and Mamba green. Yeah, that's a great color. Yeah. But I'm glad you like your Macan, Larry. It's a really well-made
here's the issue, though, that I wanted to ask you about. It's the most uncomfortable seat I've ever been in my life.
Really?
I haven't been able to figure that out. It's something about the shoulders, because I'm super skinny, as everybody knows, or whatever, but my shoulders are a little bit wider, I guess, and my torso is taller. So the back little parts that so I'm hunched a little bit, and then my back kills me. So I have to roll up some towels or whatever to try to kick my chest out.
Don't do that. Get a Tempur-Pedic lumbar pillow if you're going to do that.
But immediately.
I have to say I cannot relate. I have not had that issue. I have a long torso also, but I don't. Do the GTS have special little shoulder wings up here that the S doesn't have? Yeah,
you can almost. Yeah, I can't see them right now, but they have a little bit of a. They push the shoulders push you in, but I only have the 8-way, and so when you look on the forums, people are saying, "Hey, you should do 14 or 18." I sat in the 14, and I sat in the 18. The 18 was much better to some degree because of the leg. Yeah. The leg thing kicks out like that.
The thigh support. Yeah, the thigh support.
The thigh support. So that's supposed to make it a little bit better. But I didn't really see a difference between any of them. And because I got such a ridiculously rocking deal, this was super cheap.
Yeah.
It had the 8-ways in it. And I was like, all right, well, whatever, that's fine. To me, I tested all of them and they seemed pretty similar, but it's very uncomfortable.
See if someone on Pelican Parts forums wants to trade your seats for their S seats.
I'm trying to figure out a way. There, you can find 18-way on eBay.
Really?
But I talked to my mechanic, the guy who built the 964, and he said it's a totally different wire harness.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I'm sorry, that's annoying. Uncomfortable cars and uncomfortable daily driver is a problem. Zach just pulled up the pillow I got us that I'm using on the Safari, and it's game over. This thing, it's just a Tempur-Pedic from Relax the Back. It's like $60. It's just a portable lumbar cushion, and it's awesome. It's memory foam.
I sent you the link, Larry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does that touch the bottom, or does it wrap around the back of the seat?
It has a strap that can go around, or you can just I used to just drop it into my seat and then.
Mine. When I put it behind my back, I physically pick it up a couple inches off the bottom, and then it stays once it's there. But yeah.
And so is it giving you this where you're pushing your kind of chest out, meaning it's doing the lumbar?
Yeah.
All right, because I think if I put that there, the back cups on my shoulder, I'll be closer.
You probably will. So it seems like your height and shoulder width is just not right for those seats because that's just it. So I think even if you could take foam out of those seats, but it's probably better just buy, like Matt said, get a different seat from a Macan that fits.
Yeah, I gotta figure that out.
That's a problem. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've changed. You got to see. Guys know how mental I am. I've changed the seat position 400 times. My wife's like, "What are you doing outside?" So I change it a millimeter, and then I sit there and I drive. I'm change the. I can't figure it out. It's making me nuts,
that sucks. I'm sorry.
I'll figure it out.
You might be able to have an upholstery shop cut foam out of that. But
that's the next thing. On the 15th of the month, I'm calling to my guy Johan and his son Brendan, and they're going to try to cut the foam and do something crazy. Not crazy. I mean, just make it not so uncomfortable. So that's my next.
While you're in there, I'd like some cholo fabric, please.
Yes. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, that's fucking annoying, dude. I'm sorry. That sucks.
Yeah, but it drives great. It sounds amazing. All the things that you read online, it does all of that great.
Yeah, it feels like a Porsche, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, as soon as I first got in it from the Ford, and the Ford was great. I mean, it really was. But when I got into this, you could immediately feel what you were talking about, like the build quality. You're like, oh yeah. I was on the phone with Musto when I was driving back because I was bored out of my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this feels like a Porsche. He's like, yeah, duh, it does, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, you can feel where your money went, and I think a lot of people that don't spend time in those cars, they go, well, it's fucking so expensive, and the difference is incremental, and it depends on what your priority is. But if you really spend a lot of time in both, it's screwed together tighter. Even if you don't get the crazy leather and all the crazy shit, it's still screwed together tighter.
Well, and if it's incrementally better in 100 places, it's kind of like the Steve Dinan, like get faster at shave 100th of a second in 100 places. Now you dropped a second.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Larry, we got like a fucking bunch of questions from people. You want to blast through a few of these?
I can't see them. Does that matter?
No, you don't need to. Zach will read them to you. But do you have a half hour to go through a few?
Of course. Hopefully, I can answer all of them. We'll see how we can do.
All right,
God,
cool.
You can see the swollenness. God.
For those, it's not coming up on the show. Don't worry about it. If you're in there, give 5 more minutes on. Get your questions into the super chat for Larry, and then we'll shut her down. What do you got, Zach?
All right, first one, Haithman says, maybe a dumb question, but he bought a car a couple years ago that's fully expelled and wondering what he should do to detail and clean it beyond a standard car wash without removing that clear bra.
I think he's talking about the 964 because I don't have that many cars, only 3. So I think that's what he's talking about. With an expel or any clear bra, what they call PPF, paint protection film, the sort of rule of thumb is you treat it exactly like you would anything else, except you don't really want to use abrasives. Now, the asterisk on that is, yes, you can use abrasives if you're familiar with that. It's a little bit of a technique. Some accept abrasives a little bit more or easier than others. But ultimately, what I tell people is just don't use any abrasive on it. Wash it properly. If this is the clear bra, you want to wash away, as opposed to on the edge, and then you might pick it up.
Yeah.
So little things like that, you can wax.
Start from the center of the film piece and work towards the edge.
Yeah, just logical things, and you'll be fine. So the short answer is don't overthink it. Just don't use abrasives, and you'll be fine.
Abrasives would include what? It would include like clay bar. Is that an abrasive?
Technically speaking, yes, clay bar is an abrasive, at least in my mind. But sometimes you can clay that as long as you have enough lubrication. But I'm really speaking to compounds and polishes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. I have PPF on my 911, and I just wash it in AMMO foam, and then I use AMMO hydrate when I dry it, and it looks awesome all the time.
That's like 90% of all my sales, and everybody is just that. They wash it, they hydrate it, and they're like, looks great. What should I do now? I'm like, you can wax it rather than they're like, all right. Well, it's 90% are doing exactly what you're doing.
Dude, you'll be happy to know, by the way, Larry, that you can still read license plates in the door of my Lamborghini 14 months after you detailed it.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Yes. That was quite the show there.
Yeah. Still looks good.
Thank you.
Will C asked, Larry, I just bought an airplane that will sit outside. I've been thinking of doing ceramic coating, but I have not heard much about their UV protection. Any thoughts, or should he stick with wax?
Well, there's multiple things here. I'll try to keep this as short as possible so we can get to as many people. Airplanes are a whole different thing, meaning from an insurance perspective, it's challenging for me to give quality advice because of the restrictions there. They're so obviously for airplanes, you make a mistake, you have some bigger issues. With respect to coatings, there's about 1,000,001 different coatings out there. And I'll try to keep this short. I think the thing that you need to be asking yourself when you're doing something along the lines of, let's say, those types of coatings that are out there, which I'm not saying they're bad, just ask the question, is it safe? And then ask the question, how long does it last? And does it have UV? And does it have all the characteristics that you want? I think the priority should be, is it flammable? How high are the hazards? Am I going to get sick? Am I going to get start coughing? These kinds of things before we ask that. So I think it's very popular to put coatings on, and I think a lot of them are very good. Just keep that in mind. So with respect to the plane, Yeah, put coating on there, but it's a very, very loaded question he asked. I'd have to have specifics like the SDS and see some testing, because airplanes, if you mess up a pitot tube or, there's a million and one things that can go wrong. Like, I don't want that on YouTube saying I say to do one thing and the plane has an issue. So
disclaimer, this is general advice. Do your own research.
General advice there,
do your own research. And also, whatever a pitot tube is, we're going to need to know what that is. And is it related
don't go playing with his pitot tube, all right?
That's I was going to say it's like a Jeffrey Epstein escape slide.
It's a water slide.
From what I understand, it measures your wind speed, and it's
so they have on race cars. It it's
the
metal
little thing
straw
that sticks out. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Nick Hanscom just says thank you. He showed his passionless non-car father the froth video, and then his dad freaked out, ordered it, and loves it. So thank you for that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that one, I'm pretty proud of that one. That was a game changer. I think, Matt, I don't even know if you know, I was shaving, and I came up with this idea of like, well, shaving, you have a humectant, something that
what?
Attracts moisture, basically, lack of a better word right now.
Attracts moisture. Okay.
It doesn't attract moisture. It retains moisture, basically, is what's going. Like when you shave, you have, you take something that wasn't exactly super moist and you add lubrication to it, but you do it in a dry atmosphere, meaning you're not in the shower. Is intended to not necessarily be in the shower to shave. Anyways, I got inspired and I looked at the ingredients and went through the whole thing, and then tried it on a couple of cars and realized, wait a second, this has way more lubrication. We can actually do what I call a hoseless wash, because I always recommend, if you have access to free flowing water, which is a fancy word for saying a hose, use it. If you don't, this is a wonderful alternative focused primarily on lubrication. So that's where Frothy came in, and it took off like crazy. And, so I'm super proud of that one.
Cool.
It's like a better version of a waterless wash.
Yeah, I don't like to say a better version. It's definitely different, meaning there's a significant amount of foam and almost like tangible, or I'm not sure if that's the right word. You can almost feel the lubrication in it, and that's really what it's all about. So when you use that, the difference with the waterless wash in most cases is you spray and you wipe it down, and that's considered a waterless wash.
Right.
In this case,
they do that shit all over LA. It's terrible. They set up these waterless washes in like mall parking lots and shit, and they just go through gallons of spray wax and fucking
That's basically what it is.
You're
just putting water from the spray in the 16 ounce on there. And I said, okay, that to me it doesn't seem kind of like steam or whatever. It doesn't bring enough amount of lubrication to be able to carry or lift or lubricate in any way. So the point I'm trying to make is you use this first, you lift up the junk, and then afterward you can go in and spray wax. So it's a two-step process. It's just, to me, it's more logical than spray, wipe, you're done.
Right.
It doesn't, it's kind of the same idea with the COVID thing and disinfecting. We can get into that kind of stuff. I'm sure somebody will ask. People think you take a disinfectant and you go, okay, I wiped the disinfectant on, it's disinfected. It doesn't work like that. And I think that's part of the causing a lot of this, I wouldn't say spread. It's not decreasing the spread fast enough because of the misinformation, because you have to actually pick it up and go read the back of the box, and the back of the box will tell you it has to have dwell time. So for a lot of the viewers and listeners out there, we're jumping into a weird thing, but let's say I wanted to disinfect.
I'm gonna have to stop you, Larry. We don't want to learn. We're not here to learn.
Well, this is true. No, I can see the subscriber rate going.
I'm fucking around. I do want to learn. I just couldn't help myself because I'm a dick.
No, that's a good point. But the CDC and the EPA basically say if I was going to, disinfect this area right here, I'd have to clean it first. Step 1, clean, and then step 2, disinfect, and then to disinfect, you have to leave it for a certain amount of time. Based on the quant that you're using, it could be, I'm making this up, 3 minutes to 10 minutes. And based on what you're trying to kill, meaning if it's a stronger virus or it has a different type of envelope virus that can resist other things, you have to let it sit there for longer periods of time.
Right.
So there's a lot of confusion. Most people go like, wipe, it's disinfected, and it's like, you didn't do anything right there.
Yeah.
And I can actually prove it. This was one of this cool, I gotta let this thing load up now. But there's this cool test where you can actually do it at home now. Oh, there it goes, it's loading up. I have this little tester.
Yeah.
You pop this guy off right here, and there's you see
swab.
that thing?
Yeah, like a swabby guy.
Swab, and you can swab whatever the steering wheel or whatever. You put it back in here.
Yeah.
And this little iPhone looking thing that loads up. See, it's starting. You open up this top. You throw. I already put one in there.
Yeah.
You throw this thing in there. You close the top, and it'll tell you. It'll do a quick test, and it'll tell you how much bacteria is there. This one's going to say 0 because I have a clean one in there.
Right.
But basically, after 10 seconds, it tells you. So I kind of.
Does it tell you what kind of bacteria you have, or just like how gnarly it is?
No, this one in particular is probably going to say 0 once it hits there.
No, I know, but like, let's say you just picked some random person's car and swabbed it.
Right. That particular one right there is called hygiene. That particular one right there is going to tell you. It's designed to measure the effectiveness of your cleaning. So that's a fancy way of saying it measures for fungi and bacteria. It doesn't measure for COVID. People think
right.
When they say COVID, I laugh because COVID is actually the thing that you get when you get it. You're talking about SARS-CoV. Anyways, this will measure how well you clean the surface. So if I test it and it says 2,000 RLUs, which is what that thing, that's how you measure it. If you do that and then I clean it afterwards and it says 100 RLUs, you go, oh, wow, my cleaning method was effective.
Right.
So in that example I gave you before with the disinfectant,
I
actually took my phone, which was disgusting. It had 20,000 RLUs. I should probably do a YouTube video and just walk around town and do this to people. It'll freak you out. But basically it was 19,000 and change when I did this. Then I went in, I took a disinfectant because I panicked. This is actually a brilliant kind of mess up on my part. I took a disinfectant, I wiped it down like this, and I was like, I let it dry, and I didn't let it dwell, and I wiped it again, and it lowered it by like 100. So that percentage
was like nothing.
It was like 0.2%.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just disinfected it, and then my wife, who was sitting on the couch, said, you didn't do any of the things you just said in the video. I was like, oh, geez, God. I was like, yeah. So the point I'm making is this actually proved it, and it was kind of cool. So talk about nerding out.
Do I need to like start cleaning my phone every single day? Is my phone?
All kidding aside, the phone is absolutely disgusting. And I measured my bathroom, I measured my steering wheel, and I measured it against the phone. So to give you like a little bit of a basis, it's going to be obviously different for everybody. The steering wheel was something like 971, actually, I think it was that. My keyboard was around like 1,200. My phone was, we're talking 1,200, bro.
Yeah.
My phone was 19,000. And so I was like, like freaked out.
What was the shitter, bro? What was the shitter? Did you measure? You swipe the bowl?
I swiped the bowl. I swiped the top part of it.
Wow.
So, because it got messed up as soon as I went in the inside for obvious reasons. Yeah. Well, it wasn't good. So, but the top part where you sit on it, obviously.
Yeah.
I think it was something around like 1,300 or 1,400.
Oh,
meaning
man.
this was like 10 times dirtier.
Oh, dude.
Than my toilet bowl.
So what do we do?
You gotta clean it properly, meaning you clean.
What do I do to clean my phone, though? Just alcohol?
The phone. You have a thing like this.
A case?
Can you take that out?
I have a case. I have a case on my phone.
You take the case out. I can't.
Mine. You probably don't even want to swipe mine because my case is fucking leather, which is probably even worse. It's
horrible. You know what's even grosser? I'm gonna stand up right now. Your belt.
Oh.
Your belt is disgusting, dude.
Oh.
Like off the charts. Disgusting.
Really?
When was the last time you washed your belt?
I don't
How do you wash your belt? It's leather.
I don't know. I haven't thought of it, but I was sitting there and I'm like, obviously you open up and you do your thing and then you come back. And then I was like, wait a second.
Well, think of the ricochet. Oh, God.
Shit.
It's years and years and years.
You know, maybe I'm better off not knowing.
And then you're at the urinal. You got the splashing.
I know.
Right. There's a mist happening.
I know. So wait, to clean my phone.
This was the best thing and the worst thing. Think about it. For a guy with OCD, I'm wiping my head. I'm wiping it. I'm doing everything. I'm going loose on my mind.
Wait, so take your phone cover off and then what? Alcohol on the phone? Is that pretty much it?
No. That's actually not it at all. That's exactly what I did was wrong. So take this off.
Yeah.
And then if you can, I don't know about leather. Leather's going to be tough. Actually, leather, you have my lather. First, you're going to clean it with lather because it's leather.
Oh, I'll use your shit. Yeah.
Right. You use the lather, the lather on the leather.
Yeah.
Clean that all up. Do the same thing on the phone, but don't spray it on the phone. Put it on a towel, do that kind of thing. So clean it first. Then and only then go in after a disinfectant. But when you pick up the disinfectant, like I have little wipey things for the baby, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you pull it out of the bag.
Yeah.
You turn the bag over and it'll tell you, hey, if you want to sanitize it, leave it for 15 seconds. Sanitizing is lowering the amount of germs to an acceptable amount. I don't know what that means. And then disinfecting is you kill the germs. You get rid of them. So you're not clean. Disinfecting, let's be clear, is not removing dirt. And I said in one of my videos, I'd rather have disgusting black dirty hands than hands with bacteria on them.
Yeah.
You would agree, right? Who cares about dirt? Dirt's not going to kill you. But bacteria and you know, that kind of thing, that's where that comes in. So disinfecting, when you pick it up and you turn it over, you got to see how long
it's got to sit
required. Yeah, I don't know. Some of them are 2 seconds, some of them are 15 minutes. It's different for everyone.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do on your phone. But it's like seriously,
no,
all kidding aside,
I know it's
you gotta
disgusting. Yeah, I know my phone's gross. I'm glad I don't have a meter to show exactly how gross. I don't. Right.
Not to mention your mic, dude. Your mic is probably really kind of gross.
But my mic's only me. I don't share. It's okay.
Well, the phone's probably worse because the phone, like, you set it on every restaurant table you go to.
Yeah.
You touch doors and things. You look at, like, we use them so much.
I know.
Right.
I have started leaving it in the car when I go in the grocery store because it was fucking up, your grocery store process now. So now it's like I don't touch anything else. I only bring a credit card by itself outside of my wallet, which I then fucking hand sanitize afterwards, and a piece of paper with my shopping list on it. That's all that comes in the grocery store with me, and the mask.
It's probably a good thing, and maybe it'll help, because I saw somewhere you posted about not anti-social media. I forget what you were doing, but like, hey, like, we got to put our phones down or whatever. And I read that, I was like,
I removed all social media from my phone.
Right. I think it's brilliant.
Fucking great, dude. You know how great an idea it was? I don't miss anything. I don't miss any of it. I have Twitter and Instagram on my computer, which I'm at plenty of the day. I get plenty of Twitter and Instagram on the computer. I handle all posting. I wake up, I do 3 posts scheduled out, and then I walk away from that. And that's it.
You can schedule Instagram posts?
Fuck yeah, you can, dude. Facebook Creator Studio. Get on it.
I didn't know that.
Catch up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and once you know you can do that, then you can just remove Instagram from your phone entirely.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, now I'm learning. Not only did I go from 6 hours a day screen time to under 2, I immediately, within 48 hours, the tendonitis in both my elbows went away.
Well, I can tell that you're not on your phone and you're in the gym. That's for sure. You look like $1 million. So.
I'm not. It is what it is, but I'm not on my phone. That's important. I recommend it. I do recommend it.
That's huge.
Especially for someone like you who has an constant barrage of questions and letters and stuff. It's just too much for one person to handle.
I'm right now. I'm averaging. This is how crazy I am, because I actually I'm averaging almost 80 emails a day of questions.
You should stop spending time taking emails. The average.
What's that?
Stop committing time to taking the average.
Well, I'm a crazy person. I'm a crazy person because I talked to my wife about it.
Nobody cares about the average. Stop wasting time with doing that.
You could answer one more email if you didn't take that average.
You know what, Zach? You're correct. Maybe I should stop doing that. I'm being inefficient. But yes, I get a lot of emails. It's crazy.
I know. I spend probably 2 hours a day on emails as well. Emails and scheduling of things is a major part of my, and answering fan questions. I get probably 50 to 100 DMs a day on Instagram.
Right. I'd rather just do that as a job. That I like answering and talking to people and all that kind of stuff. It's fun. It's just challenging to do that and detail a car.
Yeah. No, when you're running the business, it being the social media manager is very, very hard. But if you can do it using your voice and not your fingers while you're detailing a car, you're doubling up on your time.
That's why I thought this idea was brilliant. So
it is. Zach, what else we got? Let's get through some more.
Where's it? This guy applied Reflex Sheet this past weekend. He highly recommends it. It says easy application, gloss is great, sheeting's awesome. So thank you, Larry. And
there you go.
Someone asked if that can be used on PPF.
Absolutely, as long as it's not an abrasive, which this is not.
Okay.
Generally speaking, but yes, the answer is yes, you can.
Someone said they used Reflex and Skin and everything looks amazing. So just a lot of compliments for your gear in general. MB is Frenchy asked, do you have suggestions for paint protection film installer or detailers in New York?
Aside from me?
Exactly. That's why I was like, him. He's there.
No, there's a bunch of good guys. There's my guy, Dan Mealy. He's fantastic. Turn7autocare.com. www.turn7autocare.com. He's great. And there's another guy, Phil, Detailer's Domain, out in just over the border in New Jersey. I'm sure there's lots of other wonderful guys. I just don't know them, so I'm sure there's lots of great guys. But those are my two closest friends, Phil at DetailersDomain.com and Dan Mealy at Turn7autocare.com.
Nice. Medium 805 asks, how can he deal with black rubber trim? He says it's the bane of his existence. It seems perma-dull and sun-damaged from the dealership.
I would need to know a lot more information, but you can dye it. You can sort of cosmetically treat it, like as in makeup. You can put like tire shine and things like that, if I'm understanding the question correctly. And then you can actually put coatings on it. I do think of all the coatings, I don't want people to think I'm anti-coating. I'm anti-not safe. That's what I am. But I love coatings. I'm just anti-not safe to humans. But there are some neat coatings that you can put on there that will actually protect it for a longer period of time. Having said all of that, sometimes people email me and say how to wait that same question, and then they'll send me a picture, and the picture will show it's just roached out. And I say, hey, there's sometimes the patient's dead. No doctor, you can't do anything to it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Hey, that question reminds me though. This has nothing to do with cars, but since I got you on the line, you know the gym in my house, Lair? I've got the rubber gym floor. What would you fucking clean that with? Anything I try to clean it with, I leave stains on it. I leave like...
Yeah, okay. So right now you need to start disinfecting it. So the first thing you're going to clean is, I know it sounds crazy, it's really soap and water. I know that it's like, wait a second, how am I going to do that? You can figure it out and make it so it's not so sloppy. You're a smart guy. The big thing is disinfecting it. So the difference when you're disinfecting, is it a soft surface or is it a hard surface? So if you look at all the Lysols and all the things that are out there that are wonderful, if you turn the can over and read it, it says hard surfaces only, toilet bowls, kitchen sinks, countertops, etc. So if you were to spray that on something that is a porous surface like leather or carpets, it's not designed for that. Yours, I'm not sure. I have to go back and look at how porous your rubber is.
It's pretty hard rubber. It's not very. It doesn't have a lot of give.
But it doesn't have any kind of like shiny coating on it or anything.
No.
Right. So that Zach's right. So I think you're in that weird gray area where I'm not 100% sure. But for the lack of another piece of advice, I would say pretend like as if it's a hard surface.
Okay.
Or what they call a non-porous surface.
Yeah.
And then use a disinfectant on that, because the big thing. Hopefully one of my guys is watching, Jim Ramsey. One of the sports teams guys, I'll leave it vague there. I love my hockey. I don't know if you can see my sticks back there, but this way. The sports teams are really focused on that too, because they have a lot of gyms, obviously, in their facilities when they get back to working out. And so one of my buddies from the Rangers called and said, hey, how do we figure this out? Because you got guys working out and they're just pouring sweat, especially in those artificial turfs that they have, for the basketball people and football or whatever. So that's something that we're exploring as well, because it's hard, but it's also not hard. You see what I'm saying? The fake grass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So your question's a good one. I'll get back to you on that one. I'm still trying to figure that out, but I think I would consider it a non-porous surface or a hard surface.
Okay.
And clean it like you would anything else.
All right.
Lysol-ish.
All right. Blacksley Woody asks, which ammo products should be applied before ceramic coat, and which ones should be applied over ceramic coat?
Ceramic coats. Well, it depends on the ceramic coat. Some require different things, meaning some are cured by air, some are cured by light, some are cured in different there's a million in one. So a lot of them require, interestingly enough, you to do what's called a strip wash. Now, strip washes weren't really around until coatings came around. A little bit of a backstory. I was doing coatings, Matt. You even remember that when you went to California to do your thing.
Yeah.
And I stayed, and then I went in manufacturing. You remember when I worked for that crazy guy?
Yeah.
And I would go do all the, who I'm talking about. Don't say anything. I went and did all those. I was doing coatings. I was doing 12-ish cars a day, which sounded crazy back then because it was a different type of coating. So I have a lot of experience with coatings. In this case, The strip wash is kind of new because the newer coatings that have this ceramic type chemical in there, I'm being vague for a reason. When they encounter something like wax on the car, they dissolve that wax in the act of going on the car, and it changes the chemical property of it and becomes messed up or blurry or fuzzy or hazy or whatever. There's a million different things that can go wrong. So to this gentleman's question or person's question they designed this strip wash, which is basically, again, I'm being very vague, like isopropyl alcohol, like if you're going to get a needle, a shot, they clean that kind of thing. That sort of mentality is happening to your car so that you can put the coating on and nothing interferes with it. So I think that's what he's asking. So in that case, you would pick up the bottle and it says typically on the back, hey, use isopropyl alcohol, use wax and grease remover. You don't need to do anything. Like for mine, you don't need to do anything because I've designed it that way. Some people require other things. So that's underneath. On top, this is where it gets a little bit, I got to be careful here. You can, in my opinion, most cases, you can put on anything you want on top of it. I think there's a little bit of marketing involved in that, meaning, hey, only this product works with that product. I get that. And then I think 20% of that is based in truth, meaning what they're trying to tell you is when you put something over a coating, you alter the chemical characteristics of the coating itself. So if the coating is designed to do A, B, and C, if you put something on top of it, you're going to mute that. So it's like saying, hey, I wore this AMMO shirt right now, but if I put a jacket over it, you're not going to see the AMMO shirt anymore. So do you want to see the AMMO shirt or do you want to see the jacket?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sure I probably bored the heck out of you there. But
no, it's what it is. That's a tedious question.
Yeah, it's a loaded question that I'm gonna fail at every corner on that one.
All right, yeah, all right.
It's all good. Soups99 wants to know if you've ever had an idea for a product that just did not work out the way you wanted to, and then you had to scrap. Yes, I did. The first, just out of reach. The first 73 product ideas of Reflex. Yeah, I've had a couple of them that have failed. The bigger thing with me is, I think people have to understand. I'm sure they do. It's a point of figure of speech. I really take a lot of pride in trying to develop products that I think are going to be the future, that I think are going to be something very helpful, and not just something that people are going to buy, which is, I think, a lot of the focus of people. Hey, this market has grown so big, and you're working in chemicals. How do I make another chemical just to say I've made another chemical? And so you kind of have to walk this ethical line. So to answer his question somehow, or roundabout, I've developed a lot of things, but the challenge is, as a single, what I call a company of one, because it's very challenging to develop something from beginning to end. Whatever takes a massive company to do this long, it takes me this much longer. Why? Because I'm one guy. Okay, all the things that you would imagine, but the things that you don't really notice is I have to wait in line behind the big guys. That's just the way it is. Whether I like it or not, that's just the way that it is. So when I'm sort of waiting in line, like I said before, kind of walking towards the dream of having the product that I want, I sort of get what my mom refers to as hind teeth. You know what I mean? So you're not the first one in line to get the stuff. So I have to be a little bit more creative. And to answer or to respond to his question, it's not so much that I created something and it failed. It has. I'm not pretending it doesn't. I'm saying more cases than not, it's I've created something that I can't get, and or I get too late. And so I have this running joke with a couple of my manufacturers and the people that I work with for Raws, that I feel like every time I come up with an idea and it takes me so long to get to where everybody else is because I'm one guy, somebody larger, stronger, faster, bigger, whatever, comes out with that same thing. And I'm like, oh, and I literally have cases where I've gotten trademarks and patents and all these other things. And it got to a point where I just couldn't spend any more time or any more money. And the instant, literally, it became available, bang, another company picked it up and took it. I mean, I have probably 5 or 6 of them, and my inside people that know me well and lawyers and all that kind of thing, they go like, man, I feel like I'm
focused on being able to see what's going to come next and what would be really useful for people. And then I can't get there fast enough because I'm waiting in line behind the big guys. It's hard. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll be a big guy soon.
I mean, you seem to be on your way.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with your success and determination. It's really cool.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's crazy making. It's fun. It's going to be fun when I can literally draw up something and say, like, here's my vision for this. Like, help me execute that. And right now, and people are helping. I'm not pretending that I'm, there's other people. Of course, I'm not just by myself on the whole thing and packing everything or whatever. But it'd be awesome to kind of like have a support group or something that I don't know what I'm asking, but you get where I'm going with that. It'd be nice. Like, hey, can you track this guy down? Find the raw material here.
That sounds like having an actual company that has employees is what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Right. It's called having a staff that has
It's when Zuckerberg got to stop programming.
Yeah. Elon Musk doesn't fucking program the landing code for the rockets. Someone else does that. He goes, it'd be cool? Rockets that land, and then a bunch of other people do that, and he eats acid and names his kid alphanumeric weirdness because
why
not torture
quite
a child?
There yet.
Why not torture a child?
Why not torture a child?
Oh man, that's funny.
All right, we got a couple from Matt. Ski Bum 291 just says, Matt, he also feels your pain with a water main issue. He's in Texas. It's costing them $700,000 a week in opportunity loss. It's a big plant.
Oh no!
So he just says this is month 3. Everyone trashes California and Los Angeles, but it's the same everywhere. So stay strong.
That's the one. The difference between what people say on the internet when I complain about something with the city. And you get a lot of people on Instagram who go, the fucking Democrats in LA and California, fucking socialists. Ah! And then my contractor goes, man, you think this is something you should have seen when we tried to put that hospital in Texas and they made us replace someone's fucking cornfield for $2 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if people don't know that story, that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
The cornfield, that's great.
Yeah, he had to replace a cornfield, someone's cornfield, because they had to dig up, something to put something under the cornfield, and they'd replace it, and they've had to do all kinds of shit. And he said, yeah, no, he said it's not because you're in California or LA. It's not because of Democrats or Republicans. It's because the system is designed to let everybody get their taste from the fucking fat cat developer that's building a big project. That's how the system is designed. And it is what it is. Gotcha. And environmental shit. But yeah, I mean, I feel better now. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not spending $700K a fucking week. Ah!
Jeez.
Ah!
Big
if we had to stop construction entirely, it would cost me about a Honda Civic a week to not work.
It's a lot, though.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money to not work.
Wait, new Civic or old Civic?
A new one.
Okay, I figured. I just figured. Just checking.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. It costs an old Honda Civic a day to not work.
Another way to look at it, it's also terrifying. Yeah. Alex Smith says, Matt, I just had a micro discectomy in March, L5S1. After your back surgery, how long did you wait to get back on track? He's more concerned about off-track incidents than the driving itself.
Oh, he means back on track like in a fucking car.
Yeah.
Oh, he's more concerned about having a crash?
Right, crashing with a back injury.
I mean, L5S1 microdiscectomy, once you're fully healed up and you don't have pain anymore, you're doing the PT, you're getting your core in as good shape as can be reasonably expected. Once you don't have pain anymore from the surgery and you're cured, I think you're fine to get back on a racetrack. It was never that big of a concern of mine. Other things have been. I won't go skydiving. I always wanted to go skydiving. My doctor was like, "You're out of your fucking mind going skydiving with two back surgeries." So I won't do that. And I won't. I was invited to do wide open Baja for free. I turned it down. I know, Larry.
That's a dream of mine, dude.
I know. I'll send them to you. You want to do it?
I would love to do that.
I'll send them to you. I bet you they'd love to have you. And they offered it to me totally gratis, and I had
Is
to.
that the one you and your dad did?
Yeah, the one that put me in the hospital the first time.
Right. I totally put me in touch with them off air.
No, I will. It'll be they're a great outfit, and but there's definitely things that there are a few things I won't do. That I know will be particularly abusive towards my back. But no, I think once your body feels healed up, you're no longer in pain from the surgery or the nerves. I think you can get back on a racetrack without too much trouble. Yeah,
nice.
The odds of being in a crash in a car that causes further damage to that specific thing once it's healed are very low.
Yeah, you need to hit. I mean, it's bumps that would be the biggest problem. Some kind of airborne situation.
Don't drive trophy trucks.
Right. No, so I'm saying, but if you had an off at a track that also involved you getting air, that would be very bad. But that's not that common, depending on what you're doing.
Your spine would be problem 47 if your car is exited a track and is airborne. Your spine is not your top 5 problems.
That's when you're like, I kind of hope I roll so that I don't compress my spine.
If you have time to think about that, your car actually is flying through
like the Mustang guy at Willow Springs.
That was exactly who I thought of. Larry, you ever see that video?
No.
It's one of the best crash videos of all time. We can't show it, but write it down for later. Fox body Mustang crash, Willow Springs. Here, Zach will pull up the screen. Oh, there it is.
Like this guy.
Bro, this guy loses it going into turn 8 at 120 something miles an hour and just goes straight off, but there's a yump that you can't see and it launches him real far. He crashes into a wall, like through a wall actually.
He makes it all the way to like the green wall that separates the track runoff from like the entrance road, but that wall is very far from the corner and
really
he punched a hole in it. He stopped at the wall. But there's a part of the wall that's painted a different color now. No, he walked away from it. He had a cage and shit.
And the camera comes off his car and lands like 40 feet away from his car, but pointed back at the car. And there's the shot, and you can see the guy getting out from that shot. It's fucking wild. Go watch that video. It's one of the craziest crashes ever.
It's big. It is a huge jump. He found a jump.
Yeah, that guy maybe has some back issues, but this other guy could be okay.
All right, we got a few more. Larry, do you regret selling your Impala?
Ooh, that's a painful question. No. The answer is no, because I couldn't really take my son in there. It wasn't appropriate. The car just wasn't safe enough. But I do, and Musto and Jonathan Adler, you know him, they both think I'm crazy because I do like the slow, old, big cars. I like that. I like that as a part of the cadre of cars that you would have or whatever. You know, you got the small ones and the fast ones. I like kind of big, slow cars. So I miss it, but no, I would say no, because if I can't take my son, then what's the point at that? So no.
All right. Do you have two people want detail recommendations? One's in DC and one's in LA for like high-end car collection, quote.
Yes. In LA, you got my close friend, actually Matt knows him because he worked on it, Derek Bemis.
Hell yeah, Derek's the man. I would definitely get Derek to come do your... Didn't he move? Did he not move?
No. He travels out to Arizona.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought he was going to move to Arizona, but okay.
No. So he's detail works with a...
Like the German, WERKS.
Right, thank you. .net, I believe.
Yeah, Derek is the man. He's a good dude. Yeah, he's in LA. I would definitely use that guy for sure.
There you go.
He's your guy.
He's the man. And he was also in the video. So if you want to put a face to the name kind of thing, he was in when I did Matt's Lamborghini.
Yeah, they came in. You guys all came into the podcast, I think, that night. Or
right.
Like
Thank you. There you go. So if this person who said that is a podcast person, then you'll put a face to the name.
Cool.
And then the other one we said Maryland or DC or whatever. DC. That would be on the spot detail. You're putting me on the spot, huh? Put on the spot detail. I think something it's like that. And the Rob, his name is Rob. I'll think about it and let me think on it for a second. Rob Schufer. Wow, I really pulled that one out.
I mean, I had the site. That would have been fine, but good job.
All right, there we go. Cool. Yeah. Good recommendations.
Nice.
There he is, right there. Yeah, he's in the picture down there.
All right, cool.
All right, we just have 3 more, and let's see. How long do ceramic coatings last, and can you apply a new one over an existing one?
Again, it depends on the type of coating. This is the largest question. Clay used to be the biggest question I get, and that sort of faded away. Everyone is crazy about ceramic coatings. It is just, there's a lot in that question. And to answer that, there is a little bit of this sort of psychology of, hey, if I put this on, if I pop this pill, I'm going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it's like, Matt, you're the perfect example. No, the reason you look the way you look right now is because you work your butt off, right? And you work out and you eat right. And like, I've never seen somebody be as healthy and do the regimen that it requires to look the way that you look. And kudos to you. Same kind of concept in life, same kind of concept in cars. So this coating craze has taken over. And for the record, I'm not saying coatings are bad. They're not. They're on their way to being amazing. It's just the perception of what the coating does kind of ruins everything. And then the salesman has to be careful when he sells something like that, because you're not going to put a coating on and it lasts forever, that kind of thing. So to this person's question, yeah, you can, some coatings allow you to reactivate it, or whatever you want to call it, re-layer it. Now, if you really look closely, this is where I'm going to walk a very fine line here, and I'm going to get 1,000 emails for what I'm about to say. But if you read the warranty that comes with lots of them, you notice that at some variation, I'm not going to pretend what it is, quarterly, every 6 months, every 8 months, every year, I don't remember what it is, but you have to go in, it varies, to have them reapply it. However, it has a warranty of, I'm making this up again, 2 years, 10 years, 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, whatever it is. Do you see what I'm talking about here and how you can basically you're saying, hey, I'm going to give you I'm making this up for round numbers, a 10-year warranty on this coating. But, oh, by the way, you got to come back in every 6 months. So I got to put it back on. It's like, wait a second. I can just do that with like regular sealant. Like, why would I pay $5,000 for that, or whatever the case is? Do you see the kind of interesting dilemma that's kind of been posed by coatings? So they do work and they do things. Are they safe? And do they have a realistic time to be on the car? And so I think that gray area, that gap, is what confuses people. And this nice person who wrote the comment in there is discovering that for himself. And he's asking, wait a second, can we layer anything on top of it? Because they tell me not to. Does it really last 10 years? Because it seems like I have to go in all the time and have them reapply it. So I think we need to be a little bit more clear as to what those things can and cannot do, and err on the side of caution. And so that is a very, very broad answer to a very broad question. So
it's a good answer, though. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Does that make sense? Yeah. I think we need to think about it, and I'm being very careful. Zach, you've known me for a long time. I'm walking a fine line, so that is a massive, massive market, and I'm not looking to pull the tail of it.
Right, because that's a question where if you give the wrong answer, it could upset the actual market that is profiting off of that. So,
I wouldn't. Maybe I don't think I have that much pull, but that would be wonderful. But I'm not looking to get anybody angry at me. I think coatings are wonderful. Just read the back of the cereal box before you eat it. Follow me?
Does paint protection film last longer, or is that simpler in a way, or no?
It's a brilliant question, Zach. This is what gets me so worked up. If you look at paint protection film and then you look at something, and remember, this is coming from a person who has spent his life or whatever. Matt knows making products to go on cars because they make me feel good. That's really it. When I drive, it makes me feel better that it's clean. So I'm giving you perspective that I don't make any money on PPFs other than installing them, meaning I don't make PPFs. So PPF, typical warranty is anywhere from, it depends on what you're doing with the car. Let's just make it up here, a couple of years to maybe 5-6 years, something like that on the far end. Well, coatings, sometimes they have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all these crazy warranties. If you take a piece of Clearbout, which is behind me, you can actually see it right there. Do you see it up there? Right there, or whatever.
I can see something.
Yeah, something back there. Well, whatever. If I went over there and grabbed that and I took a piece out, and I went like this, and I bit it, you could feel it between your teeth, right? You could go like this and stretch it, and then somebody would try to stick a key through it. What I'm trying to make a point here is it's very thick. And so if something like that that's very rubbery, for the lack of a better word, it's not rubber, but rubbery, and you put it on your car and it's clear and it lasts a couple of years, a race car, maybe a season, a car that you drive daily, maybe 2-3 years, and a car that like the R8 that comes out, not necessarily daily, maybe 5-6 years or something like that, right? If that lasts that long and it's designed to be removed, and a coating lasts, let's say, for just to be conservative, a similar amount of time, to me that doesn't make sense to me. This is something that's like this infinitesimally thin thing that you can't really. Do you see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, totally.
To me, there's illogical.
Yeah.
So, but they do something. I'm not saying they don't do something. I'm saying ask the right question. You see how CYA I am right here?
Yes.
Yeah. Makes tons of sense. Okay, last two. Sarunas Ambrasis asked, how accurately can you compare cars in a simulator, like Assetto Corsa, for vehicle dynamics and, quote, feel? For example, the Mustang GT in Assetto Corsa seems to understeer significantly.
Are you talking about a video game?
He's talking about video games.
Yeah.
And
I think, I know this question isn't directed towards me because you guys are the more video game and that kind of techie people. But for me, when I play those games, and I've been on a track many, many times, not as many as you, but certainly more than the average person, if you don't feel the G's when you're stopping, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't, to me, it's like, it's nice to figure out the course. It's nice to figure out where the highs and low parts are and where you're going to put your tires and all that kind of thing. But if you're not, as you say, braking when God tells you to brake, and then wait a second, you can't experience that.
Or when you tell yourself,
oh my gosh, like my eyeballs are popping out of my head.
I'm with you, but that's not what he's asking at all. What he's asking at all is, can you accurately assess general vehicle dynamics of a car from how it performs in a simulator? And the example he used was a Mustang GT that on the simulator, presumably he's never driven one in real life. On the simulator, it was understeery. Okay. There's a lot of things. The problem is that's like sort of like saying, can you assess the quality of a studio recording listening to Apple AirPods? You know what I mean? Like, no, not really. You can get a general idea of what the song sounds like, but you're not going to be able to hear the very intricacies of that song unless you have an appropriate level of equipment. Not to shit on AirPods, but like, like you need a certain level of realness in order to accurately represent. So, okay, does the Mustang understeer in Assetto Corsa? Well, what's your setup in Assetto Corsa? Are you using a wheel? Are you using pedals? Are you using a controller? Are you using what brand of this shit are you using? And also like Mustang GT, mind you, anyone who goes to a track or does real performance driving in a Mustang GT, the very first thing you want to do with that car is you run a square stance. They come with staggered wheels from the factory, narrower fronts than rears. What anyone who goes to the track does is you run the rears on the fronts. All four. You run four rears. And that's how you make those cars turn in hard. And they will do that, but they also, the trade-off is they tramline. They catch ruts in the road and they dart around. That's why they don't do it from the factory, because they'd rather the car was a little pushy but had relaxed steering for the everyday driver than it had turn in like a 458, but it caught every rut in the road, so you had to drive down the highway with two hands on the wheel all the time, right? So it's a compromise. So you can, is it accurate? Like, I mean, sure, I suppose the natural tendency of a Mustang GT is towards understeer. It's when I've driven a real car in real life and then I go drive it in a video game, it is familiar. It is familiar. Would I buy a new car based on how it behaved in a video game? I wouldn't.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way.
Because all I get when I play video games from the car is, in terms of like driving dynamics, is like, it's very mental. It's, okay, I could brake at 82 miles an hour in this car. Mm-hmm. The other car I could brake at 78. Mm-hmm. Or I had to take this turn at 60, but this one I can take it at 63. But any kind of idea of feel that's coming through the wheel, that's manufactured because it depends on what wheel you have.
Right.
And then anything else you're experiencing, even if you're in a seat that has like vibrating motors and stuff, like that's created by a computer. So it's not telling you how that car actually feels to drive.
Right.
Or any of the dynamics. It's totally a manufactured experience. Now, sometimes the video games do a really good job of manufacturing a driving experience, and like a mid-engine might slide different than a front engine or a rear engine car, but you definitely can't assess like how well the car performs or understeers, and because they might have programmed it wrong or badly or something else. Like there's just too many variables that are outside the control of the auto manufacturer.
Yeah. Video games are great fun, and they're great for learning a new track if you're going to go drive it in real life and you want to get a primer, so those first 10 laps you're not thinking, well, where am I going?
And you can learn trail braking. You can learn those dynamics. Those moves do affect the cars the same way they would in real life, pretty much. Yeah. But you're not going to go judging a Mustang off of a video game. Is just not fair.
Yeah. I wouldn't judge a real car purchase off a video game. No.
Last question is, what would be a guaranteed lie on a Craigslist ad for a specific for a specific make of car? Example, a 2018 Dodge Charger RT, quote, never been raced, always baby.
2018 BMW X5M executive demo, 10,000 miles. The words executive demo. Executive demo is manufacturer speak for press car. So if you ever see,
or like dealer loaner,
if you ever see a 10,000 mile luxury sports car, whether it's an SUV or a sedan or whatever, 10,000 miles exactly, and they say executive demo, odds are that's a press car.
I think the most common lie I see is anytime anyone says, always use premium gas, because the cars I see with those ads or with those words in the ads oftentimes don't require premium gas. And if you need to know why that's a good or bad thing, go watch Jason Camisa's video on Assimi about it. But you're just grasping for too many straws. Like, you have not maintained this car, and now you're trying to go, windshield's really clean though. I always kept it detailed. They're like, you're missing a wheel. They're like, yes, but the car's clean as fuck.
That's funny.
Larry, what do you want to plug before we get this out of here? Your new YouTube channel, which is AMMONYC Studio. Go subscribe to that.
2 channels. We're keeping the channels the same. I still have my big one or whatever. Ooh, 152. This is good. That means I can change my thumbnail. I didn't know you couldn't change your thumbnail without 100 subscribers.
Yeah. There's some dumb shit you can't do until you get certain milestones.
Weird stuff.
I don't think you can do a live stream until you get to like 1,000.
Yeah, something like that. So, okay. I'll post a few videos up here and there, but I still have the big channel going, of course. The whole building is designed to do the big channel, but I know a lot of like super nerds and detailed people wanted to know, like, what are you doing every day and live feeds and stuff. So yeah, please subscribe. Thank you. The new Reflex is out. So definitely check that out. I have a new website being built because this one is 11 years old and falling apart. So that should be cool.
Nice. Awesome,
yeah,
man.
So there you go.
And, of course, at Westside Collector Car Storage, all of our in-house detailers will be trained by Larry personally once he can fucking fly out here again.
Yes.
That will be excellent. And, buy some products from the man. He's got a kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out, Larry. Appreciate it. I won't keep you too much from the wife and kid, but I hope you stay safe out there and keep fucking getting that building done. It'll be dope.
Likewise. No, I appreciate it, guys. I'm considering today I'm the opener for Tom Segura. I couldn't believe you have him on. Yeah. Can I be like a fangirl or something? I listen to him while I'm detailing. I think he's great.
He's awesome. I just watched his older special today on the Elliptical. Killed. Absolutely killed.
How do you know him?
He watches our show. He hit me up.
If you're watching, hit me up.
I've never met him before, but he seems great, and he hit me up. He watches the show.
He's really, really talented. He's very funny.
He's very funny, and he's into cars and he's into watches. I anticipate a good show tomorrow at 5 p.m. We've got Tom Segura calling in. I think from LA. I think from not far away. I'm not sure where he's at.
Tell him there's free products on the way. If I get a shout out or something, I'm like a fangirl with him. I love him.
His special.
Hi, Tom.
Getting aggressive.
His special Ball Hog is on Netflix, which I watched 2 nights ago, and it was really good. And what's the fucking name of his older special? Normal.
He lost a lot of weight too, Matt.
Something Normal.
Completely Normal, and then Mostly Stories.
No, Completely Normal is the one I watched today, and it was fun. And he did lose a lot of weight from 2014 to now. We can talk about our regimens.
There you go. I'll be tuning in anyway, so thank you.
Thanks, dude. Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. All you need is a microphone, a connection to the internet, ideally something to say. We will see you tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific with Tom Segura on the Smoking Tire Podcast. Good night, everybody.